Welcome to my new show, Ed Finn Travels. In this series, I'll discover some of Europe's best kept secrets, from the Basque Country in Spain to Normandy in France, from Franconia in Germany to places closer to home in Limerick, Wexford and Northern Ireland, before finishing my journey in the Garden State of New Jersey, USA. So join me on Ed Finn Travels. Hi, I'm Ed Finn, and this week I'm in Northern Ireland. I take to the water on an electric boat in the Lakeland county of Fermanagh. I reveal the newest global geopark. I visit the home of the infamous Titanic and the rich maritime history of the capital city. After all this, it will be time to relax in one of the country's top spa resorts, the Galgorm, on the Causeway Coast. So, join me for Ed Finn Travels in Northern Ireland. The Titanic Quarter is an expansive urban waterfront and an historic part of Northern Ireland's capital, which has had a huge influence on both the city and the world. And its story reveals itself around every corner. There are so many things to do and see here. I booked a tour of the new Titanic Distillers, which includes the famous Thompson's Dry Dock.
So just to give you an idea of the sheer size and scale of these vessels, if Titanic herself was situated inside the dock today, the bow of the vessel would actually be sitting parallel with the top of this building you can see just behind us here.
The White Star.
The White Star House. So White Star House itself is 60 feet tall. So as I say, the top of the building would be parallel with the bow where Jack and Rose are standing in the film. But to get you right up until the smoke funnels would actually be another White Star House on top of itself, plus 15 feet. So 175 feet from these blocks up until the smoke funnels.
Amazing.
Right at the top.
So you were saying it took 100 minutes to empty this, and how?
Minutes, yeah.
So it would have filled up to there,
yes,
Johnny?
right up into the top, right under the top.
And Johnny, can you still fill it up?
So the dock
itself... Have you filled it
up? So the dock itself, it went out of operation in 2001. Just the far side of the gate, just to the side of us here, there's a new permanent sea defence wall which was put into place in 2012 as the gate itself was beginning to leak. So unfortunately not to the day it wouldn't be able to fill it up. However, I've been told with a little bit of elbow grease, the pumps inside the pump house could actually still run. I've been told that the annual estimated cost of working the pumps themselves would be around £50,000, so it would be a little bit dear to get them running today, but I've been told the engineering was so good they would still operate for the day.
And of course, I mean, the rain would never fill it, because I mean, I'm sure it's always sunny in Belfast.
Exactly, I know there's no rain here.
This is amazing. The first distillery in Belfast in 88 years.
Yes.
And the only floating distillery probably in the world, is it?
Yes, it's maybe a contested subject, but as far as we're aware to the day, it's only the only floating distillery on the island anyway, but definitely including mainland Britain. Triple distillation. It has a rich history on the island of Ireland. The majority of major Irish whisky producers adopt this tradition. We believe it gives our final spirit more complexity and our final flavour is lighter and more fruity. We've now came to the final spot of the tour. I heard you like a little drop of whiskey yourself.
Yeah, it's 11. It's a bit early for me, but sure, I'll give it a tiny taste anyway. The spirit of Belfast.
The spirit of Belfast, that's it.
Just across from the Titanic Distillers is the HMS Caroline. Kerry, lovely to meet you, and I always enjoy coming up to the Titanic Quarter, and I tell people you have to see HMS Caroline. Amazing history. I mean, she's been here since when?
It's been in Belfast since 1924. First came to Belfast just after the partition of Ireland. The Prime Minister of Belfast at the time, Craig, he asked for there to be a Royal Navy presence here in Northern Ireland, and so HMS Caroline was chosen to be the presence for the Navy here in the north of Ireland.
And she's the only dreadnought battleship that survived the Battle of Jutland in 1916.
It is the only surviving ship from the biggest naval battle of all time, the Battle of Jutland. It was the largest naval battle of the time, and this is the only vessel that survived that's still afloat today. And then in 1941, when the Luftwaffe came over and bombed the shipyard here in Belfast, Caroline was in the shipyard and it survived without a scratch, so it's a very lucky ship.
Yeah, no, isn't it? Absolutely. I think the name is good. Caroline. She was Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline, yeah.
Very good.
There's something about this ship, it just seems to be very, very lucky indeed. It survived Battle of Jutland, it survived the bombing of Belfast, it survived the troubles here in Northern Ireland, it survived COVID. It's a ship that survives.
Like ourselves, and it's all part of the same history of this amazing city, Belfast.
The beauty of the Titanic story is that it's an entry for people to learn an awful lot more about the history of the city. You come in interested in Titanic and you learn an awful lot more. Where we're standing now, the Workman Clark yard was just over here that completely disappeared. It was a yard that was as big as a Harland and Wolff yard at one time. And so people can come in, they learn about Titanic, but then they learn a little bit about HMS Caroline, they learn a little bit about the whiskey distillery, and there's an awful lot to see and do and learn just because of that connection.
Harland and Wolff's headquarters have been restored to their former splendour at the Titanic Hotel, and today it is an architecturally spectacular and historically important building.
This room that we're standing in here is called the presentation room, and when this was Harland and Wolff headquarters, they would have brought clients, potential investors up to this room. There they can look down and see the draftsmen busy at work.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it represented the craftsmanship and quality of their work. So that was what they were selling to these, investors.
Amazing.
And clients.
It's really a great way to immerse yourself.
Exactly, it is. If you really want the complete Titanic experience.
So Yvonne, this is kind of a place in the hotel that I really like. It's famous, isn't it?
It's very famous. We're standing in the room where the telegram was received from HMS Titanic. Unfortunately, during that fateful night when it hit the iceberg, and the telegram of SOS would have been received in this very room.
Yeah, kind of goosebumps.
Yeah. You can imagine how the room felt that evening, and they had to work
Shock.
through the whole night. Exactly.
Titanic Belfast has welcomed over 7 million visitors since opening its doors in 2012 and has recently introduced a new experience, the Pursuit of Dreams.
We reopened the Reimagined experience just in March this year, and we have transformed about a third of the experience. So anybody that has never been before, there's even more reason to come now, and anybody that has visited us before, there's plenty of reasons to come back. Titanic Belfast is about telling the Titanic story right from where she began in Belfast, because of course Belfast is Titanic's home. It always has been and always will be. And what we do at Titanic Belfast is tell the story right from where the ship was built here over 100 years ago, right through to where she rests today. But through the new galleries, what we've done is we've introduced a theme, which is the pursuit of dreams, and that's looking at the dreams of those people that were on board the ship as crew members, those that were there as passengers, the men who built the ship right here in Belfast in the Harland and Wolff shipyard, and really everybody linked to the Titanic story, also including Dr. Robert Ballard, who you mentioned, who is the man whose dream it was to discover the wreck.
But here the stories, but the way that the ship in the second last gallery there, the one that you call
The Ship of Dreams.
The Ship of Dreams.
Ship of Dreams is about telling those stories about the people involved with Titanic. So it's a room where you really are fully immersed in the story. There's 360-degree projection. We have a 7.6 metre replica scaled model of the ship. And as you said, it's in the centre of the ceiling and it rotates, and it actually is programmed to time with the projections around the walls. So it's very poignant in terms of the lighting on the ship, depending on what you're seeing around the walls. And we then of course have a new collection of original and very rare Titanic artefacts.
And I love the way as well, of course, you guys rely here on, donations and people that give you stuff. I mean, you've never taken stuff from, what is, of course, a graveyard, really, isn't it? And the deep respect that you guys have here for the whole Titanic story.
Yes, when we opened 11 years ago, we had an ethical policy which was in line with Dr. Ballard's policy, and that very much was that the wreck is a gravesite. So any of the artefacts that we have here are in line with our policy, that they're donated down through passengers, they're donated down through family members, and some of them are also taken from the surface of the water.
And I love the fact that it's self-guided audio, so you can, as you said, spend as much time as you like. And indeed, you could spend the whole day here.
You could spend the whole day. We also have our White Star Premium Pass, which is for somebody that wants to do everything and really take in all of the things that we have on offer. So that also includes our Discovery Tour, which is an outdoor walking tour, and it's guided by one of our expert staff who will tell you all about the area around Titanic Belfast.
Thank you yet again for being my rose on my tour today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jack.
I headed into the Mournes in County Down to visit the Spelga Dam and Silent Valley. This area attracts around 50,000 visitors a year with its stunning hiking and walking routes. I've been coming here for years, filming programmes all over Northern Ireland, and I've never been here. And I must say, gobsmacked.
Well, I suppose, Ed, our geopark's unique. We're the only place that can tell the story of fire and ice. The closing of the Iapetus Ocean and the birth of the Atlantic charts over 400 million years of geological history, which gives us this wonderful landscape. Geopark has 3 distinct landscapes. In the Mournes, you've got the high peaks and the likes of Silent Valley you have here that tells your industrial heritage. You have the ancient geological landscape in Ring of Gullion and in the drumlins of Strangford. But as you said, Ed, you can come and engage with people. You know, you might want to, for example, learn about how they built the famous Mourne Wall, and or walk in the footsteps of St Patrick on the St Patrick's Trail. Well, I suppose we're very fortunate. We have got 4 forest and country parks, you know, so whether your interest is, for example, mountain biking, you can go and do downhill mountain biking cross country if you want the more adventure. More leisurely, you can actually walk to the top of Sleaf Gullion and find out about one of the oldest cairns, or you can go on to Strangford Lough and just see the wonderful landscape that's there. So there's something for everybody and lots for the family as well.
Well, listen, I know getting UNESCO awards is, I think, how many years did it take?
It's been 13 years in the making, and a lot of engagement with local and involving local community, because I suppose geoparks are about your community and about experience and what your community has to offer. But it's, as you can see here today, you know, it's a well-recognised, well-deserved recognition for the area and the landscape that we have.
I think one of the beauties about the Mournes, Michelle, as well, is that they're so accessible.
That's right. You know, you can, as you say, come from Dublin, Belfast, wherever, and within an hour and a half you can be up in the Mournes enjoying the wonderful landscape.
Yeah, brilliant. It's such a fantastic thing to have in Northern Ireland. Like, it's a great thing for people to come and see. So I'm here at the Spelga Dam, and this is Magic Hill, where your car will roll uphill. Apparently the local ferries come and push the car up. So I've asked the ferries to come, so we're just waiting now. It has to be out of gear first though. Oh my God. The car is rolling up the hill. It's real. I thought this was a joke. I can't see, can you see the ferries? Wow, that's amazing. How does that happen? My car is rolling up the hill.
Leaving the Mournes behind, I headed to Fermanagh and the majestic Florence Court House and Gardens.
Now, this dates back to what, the 1840s, is it?
Yeah, the walled garden was instituted in the 1840s, and what we are doing is restoring it back to its 1930s glory.
Was that a particular heyday for wall gardens, or is that kind of, what's the idea of bringing it back to then?
Well, the house has been restored into the 1930s character, so I suppose the garden is sort of mirroring that character and time period as well. Plus, it probably represents a time at the end of the golden age of the garden here.
Yeah.
After the First War, I think the local population took a hit in terms of workforce, and the workforce generally declined thereafter. So
yeah.
I think this is probably, we're back to what was its peak, and then it went into a steady decline thereafter. So
you come in for the day, you get access to everything here. You've also got the pleasure grounds.
Yeah.
The house, of course, itself, you can just book a tour as an extra, but you can just go in and walk around yourself if you like.
Book a house tour as you come to the visitor centre. They'll book you on to the next tour if you want.
So it's lovely, people can come in and spend the whole day here. There's loads to do and see.
Sure, yeah, we have the walled garden, we have the pleasure grounds. We've also got a blue trail and a red trail, depending on how energetic you're feeling. So.
Isaac Newton tree.
Yeah.
So that would have been around when he was alive.
Well, that's a cutting from the tree that he sat under when he was a student. Yeah.
Amazing. That's brilliant. Yeah. So I can come in and I can just pick an apple in September, can I?
Well, you can come in on an apple picking day and then hopefully pick an apple. Yeah.
I won't talk about my childhood with apples.
Yeah. Jumping over the wall to get a few apples.
Well, listen, Ian, it's been great. I love gardens anyway, but this one is very special, I have to say. And when you're in Fermanagh, this is a must visit place for me.
No, thanks very much, Ed.
Great
You're
stuff.
Welcome back
Thanks
anytime.
a million.
I headed to the island town of Enniskillen to meet Barry Flanagan, who runs luxury guided boat trips in this whole area.
How are you? good to see you again. You've a new baby.
I do indeed. You're very
Wow.
welcome back to Fermanagh. Good to
Thanks a
see you.
million.
Thanks
Great
so much.
to be
Good
here.
to see you. Come
God,
on ahead.
This looks fabulous.
Yeah, this is our new electric boat, the Island Discovery.
Yeah, brilliant.
So we built it just after the pandemic, and we got a bit of chance to do something a little bit different on the loch. So it's like a floating venue, like a floating room, really.
Beautiful, and it's that pontoon style.
It's a pontoon style, yeah. Only it's an Irish pontoon. It has doors and windows to keep the rain out as well, you know.
That's great, isn't it? God, I love
Yeah.
it. Done a lot of travelling in Germany. They do great tours. They've loads of lakes there.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they would have similar tours up and down the rivers of Europe, you're dead right.
Yeah.
And there's no pontoon boats like it in Ireland as yet, and this is the first fully electric one as well. Designed for efficient use of space, but also a nice level access boat that elderly people and people in wheelchairs, but other generations can get aboard as well. It's great for families, wee parties,
God,
tours
it's
of the loch.
fabulous.
Yeah,
So you can have 12 on board.
we can take up to 12. We can take up to 12 people.
Very comfortable for 12 as well.
Yeah, there's loads of room. Loads of room.
There's no emissions, obviously, whatsoever. It's completely electric.
It's fully electric.
And
The whole idea was to reduce our emissions, you know, and to have a different way of travelling. So yeah, we've got the electric motors that go into 2 battery banks, and then, as you say, all charged by the solar, and we can plug it in at night. If the sun doesn't shine that day, we can plug it in at night as well. So
Brilliant.
it's the first of its kind, and it's worked really well for the past 3 years now.
Where did you get the idea for this, the pontoon style?
The pontoon, well, I'd seen them in Europe. I knew people were taking tours up and down rivers in Europe on these pontoon style boats. In America they're known as party boats, but I suppose it's unusual to have doors and windows on them. But
Yeah.
I've seen ones in Europe that had the doors and windows, and I thought that could be built quite easily, and it could really help transform the business, and we could do different type of events. And it's like a little floating room, really. It's like you're sitting in a room in a building,
But it is, and
but you're floating on the
it's like
loch.
the Rocky Mountaineer, you know, like you've got massive visibility, panorama, because again, the windows, it's just, you see everything. It's
You can
brilliant.
see all around you, which is great, and you can look out the back window, and the views are amazing around the town. So we are very lucky where we are here.
Yeah, great.
It's great.
Anyway, listen, cheers, right?
Here,
and thanks
cheers.
again.
Thanks so
and
much,
as I
Ed.
said, here's to the island town. I decided to finish off my trip at the award-winning thermal spa village at Galgorm, County Antrim, the first of its kind in Ireland. You've nailed the spa experience here, haven't you? I mean, I know you've a ward, your mantelpiece is chock-a-block with the wards, but I mean, you really do it so well here.
Well, I think, 80% of our spa is outside, and our guests, I think especially after the pandemic, everybody wants to be outside in nature. It's very, very important to people. So
yeah, exactly. Mental health, of course, and everything. And you actually, the minute you come here, you start to relax.
yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 gardens, and the reason why we divided it into the 3 gardens was basically so our guests could maybe find their way as well. So we have the Riverside Garden, which obviously is along the river's edge. We have the Alpine Garden, which we opened during COVID, and obviously this is our walled garden here at the other side.
Beautiful, and the palm house is gorgeous. Yes. That's beautiful.
So we have about 40 experiences in our thermal village. So there's lots of different areas. So you have hot, cold, dry heat, plunge pools, and all these experiences that can be done outside.
And in terms of accommodation as well, I mean, you've such a variety. I mean, shepherd's huts, manor houses, log cabins, normal guest hotel rooms, of course, which are lovely as well. But it's just phenomenal the way it's grown here.
We like to offer different things for different times when people want to come and stay here.
Yeah.
So as I say, we have our lovely shepherd's huts, which is a beautiful experience. We have our cottages, we have, as you say, our log cabins, the hotel, and then you have your residencies as well. So big groups will come and stay together. They have their own private area, so it's nice. You have hot tubs there. Our Red Oaks has its own pool and sauna, so you can spend just your time up there with friends and family. It's such an experience for people. I mean, just to be able to sit outdoors and have all the different little areas that you can go around, and you won't get bored here, let's just say. So you can come back again and maybe find something you maybe didn't see the last time you were here. The Celtic sauna infusion, it originated in Finland, and its AFGAS means it's music, heat and essential oils.
Brilliant.
is what it is. So
the Finns, of course, voted the happiest people in the world again this year.
well, there you go.
You know, you have to hand
They're
it
in the
to
sun
them.
every day.
Yeah, but that's it. Apparently that is part of it.
Basically what happens, the heat in the sauna, it dilates the blood vessels, which means the blood is flowing better through the body. It also is very detoxifying for the body as well. And then even for the oils, the essential oils, that's starting to relax the body and the mind as well. So it's very, very good for you. Yeah. It's known to relieve stress, and obviously again for detoxifying, it's so important.
But even just standing here with you and the sound of the river and the water therapy, I mean, it's like it's just everything just comes together in the perfect storm of wellness here.
So obviously sustainability is our next big project, and it's something we've been working with over the last few years, but obviously it's something that's very important now to all businesses, and it's something that we have to make sure that we're following through with what we're saying that we're going to do. So,
and that's great to see, because I think a lot of people just use it as a buzzword at the moment. You know?
No, absolutely. I know as well, I mean, there's a lot of cost to this, and I know especially a lot of the smaller businesses don't maybe have the finances to be able to do the larger projects, but certainly if they're even starting to do the smaller things now, you know, eventually maybe it will be easier, more affordable for them to be able to do the larger projects as well.
It really is a fantastic ambition to have, and it's an actual real goal that you have here as well.
Yeah, as I say, there was a lot of conversations had before we went out with that news piece, because obviously greenwashing is everywhere, and it's important that we're actually following through. So it's basically, it's there, we've told everybody about it, so we have to do it now. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to be sustained a little bit now today as well, right? So I'll be infused, and I'll be
and
treated.
dipped in water,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
all of that.
Hot tubs, saunas, everything. Listen, Tara Moore, thank you so much for talking to us, and a pleasure to meet you today.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Galgorm is a really special place to visit, and a great way to end my trip travelling across the many places of outstanding beauty, from the island discovery in Enniskillen to uber pampering and wellness at Galgorm's thermal village. And of course the vibrant capital Belfast, with its fascinating maritime history and Titanic Belfast's pursuit of dreams. Great value for money, so much to do and see, and of course that giant welcome that always awaits you here in Northern Ireland. Join me next time when I'll be in the treaty city of Limerick. Until then, happy travels.